Hi everybody, welcome to another video. This episode we're covering Nekroz Dragma. I was looking into a couple of ideas of how to build this deck, and I decided to go with the Nekroz Dragma build because with Rise of the Duelist shortly coming out in the next month or so, we should be seeing the Dragma engine splashed in a lot of things, and I thought it would be kind of cool to try it out, see how it worked and stuff like that with the Nekroz cards and see what potential the deck has as a whole. But with that said, guys, if you like my content, please give a like and subscribe. Please follow me on social media. I'll be doing a lot of updates and stuff like that on the social media and stuff like that. So please give follow and a like on Twitter and Facebook so you can be kept up to date on those types of things. With that, guys, I'm going to go into the deck profile, I'll give you a quick discussion, and then we'll show the replays at the end of the video. So with that, guys, we're running two of the new Fleur de Lis, the Knight of Dragma. So essentially, if you control a monster special, or if there's a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck on the field, you can special summon this card, and if you control another Dragma monster, you can negate the effects of one face-up monster on the field until end of turn. And then whenever a Dragma monster declares an attack, you can make all Dragma monsters you control gain 500 attack, and you can only use each effect once per turn. Really cool, gives you a bit of defense on your Dragma end of things, but you're mainly using this for the quick effect special summon and possible negate as well, so it's just that extra body on board. We then have two Maximus Dragma. You can banish the Synchro Fusion Xyz or Link monster from your graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. And then during your main phase, you can send two monsters with different names from your extra deck to your graveyard, then your opponent also does the same. Also, you can special summon from the extra deck. You will not be special summoning from the extra deck, if at all. You may go into maybe one of the Nightmare monsters if you need it, or maybe something tech card that you might need later on down the line. But you're mainly going to be using it for the resources that these guys have in the extra deck, and the fact that it also takes two opponents or your opponent's extra deck as well. Unless you're in the mirror match, this is actually quite what's that word? I can't think of it. It's quite rough for your opponent. I'll say that much. Couldn't think of the right word. Debilitating to your opponent. That's what it was. Because you're taking two cards out of their extra deck, which they might need. Now, they do have a choice, so they'll probably take the two least important ones against you in that matchup. But see, once this goes off, maybe 2 or 3 times, they will start to struggle. So against combo decks, this will be rough on them. But against other decks, after like 2 or 3 activations, they will start to struggle, and it really is a good card for that. 3. Ecclesia, the Sanctified Maiden of Dragma. So it can't be struck by battle from a monster special summon from the extra deck, and also if a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck is on the field, special summon this card from your hand. You're also locked out of the extra deck with the next effect, which is you can add a Dragma card from your deck to your hand. So good searches out your Maximus Dragma and stuff like that, but it's one of your key rotas. The fact it's a spellcaster rather than warrior is a bit of an annoyance, but well. We then run 3 Shrit. Now it's back at 3. 3 Trishula, 1 Valkyris. This is mainly like a battle fader that you might need, or a draw engine, which is really all it's really useful for. That's why there's only really one of it. 3 Bionic to search out your Trishula or your Valkyris or your Unicorn. 3 Unicorn, of course, because now it's back to 3. And 3 Colossus, your spell card searcher. We then run 3 Disciple of Endear. This is also another new card. So basically, you send a monster from your extra deck to your graveyard to add a Dragma monster, or Nullius Filius of Albus from your deck to your graveyard, deck or graveyard to your hand, with attack less than or equal to that monster's. So usually, what will happen is apart from your big Dragma monsters, they're all 1500 attack or less. So you'll be able to add a lot of things back from whatever you send, like Totally Awesome or whatever. So 1 Reinforcement of the Armory, 2 Part of Avarice. Because you're going to be burning through a lot of monsters in your extra deck, this actually becomes really useful. I don't know whether to run 2 or 3 of this. I would rather run 2, because if you top deck it, you can pretty much just get +1 essentially off of it, and it can help keep your combo going, which is really important. But I don't like seeing 3 of it because it can brick a wee bit too much. 3 Preparation of Rites to help search out one of your maybe key important pieces. 3 Nekroz Amir, 2 Kaleidoscope, 2 Cycle, and then one of the new Dragma Punishment, which allows you to send a monster from your extra deck to your graveyard, target a monster your opponent controls, and if you destroy target a monster, but you can't special summon the extra deck. Really useful, and again helps with that resource engine a wee bit. For the extra deck, this will probably get a name change. Bastard the Ashton Dragon. So it requires Nullius and a monster with 2500 or more attack. You will not fusion summon this. You have no way of fusion summoning in this deck. So this is more for what its later ability is, which is when it's sent to the graveyard during the end phase. If this card was in your graveyard, you can take a Dragma monster or Nullius from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it. You're probably going to use this to maybe someone like Dragma or your Ecclesia, essentially just to keep your combo chain going. 3 inst. This allows you to pop a card when sent to the graveyard. Really useful, especially with Dragma. So you send this in like a Herald, so you get a search and a pop essentially, which is really useful. 3 Herald of the Arclight, again, reason why. Totally awesome. This is one of the main ones. This allows you to help recur your water monsters that are in the graveyard. So if you've used like 2 of your Unicorn, you need 1 of them back and you can't get to the 3rd one, you can use this, essentially send it to the graveyard, add that Unicorn back to your hand if you need it. And then I run just a Nightmare package. This is the one part of the extra deck, guys. I would recommend you actually run a completely different monster, which is a Nephthys monster. The Link 3 Nephthys the Sacred Flame. Because depending on the amount of ritual monsters you use, it'll gain different effects. You probably want to use at least 2 of them so that it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, and it gains 1200 attack, meaning this thing's 3600, so it's a big beat stick essentially. This is probably the one card I would say, if needs be, take out one of the Nightmare monsters to put in for this guy, because he is just so good, and you could probably, with the amount of resources you'd be garnering, get it out relatively easily. But that's the deck profile, guys. I'm just going to end a quick discussion about the deck. I really struggled with what way to build Nekroz. I was thinking the Incantation Support route, but with the way the metagame is sort of shifting up, there's a lot of monster negates, a lot of search negates and stuff like that. And the incantations aren't strong enough anymore. They need something extra. So when I was looking down the ideas for this, I decided to go for the Dragma build because, like I said, not only is Residuals coming out in a month, but this deck has had a lot of representation over in the OCG for the meta and stuff like that. So I think this is something that we need to look at, especially for in terms of how this deck is going to shape up in the future. The way the rest of the Dragma cards work, they all work off not special summon for the extra deck, but it's like a control variant. But one or two of the cards don't really work well within its own archetype. Nullius is a fusion spell and a monster card that basically works like a super poly without the spell speed 4. And a bunch of other wee bits and pieces that sort of work together as like a control deck, but not really as a functional full archetype as of yet. But with that, like working it with the Nekroz theme, they essentially do the same thing as what Zaborg did and the Incantations did, which was essentially this resource engine that could be used essentially to garner more resources, extend your board, build a big board, and play the deck essentially as it was fully intended without the Gin of Rituals. The only thing this deck is really missing is that the Gin of Rituals, a way of locking your opponent out, and we'll never get that probably ever again. I think Konami have kind of realised that type of card effect needs to be removed entirely. And if it is going to be in the game, it's going to have heavy restrictions and heavy costs and stuff like that, so that it doesn't stay on the board for forever. But Dragma allows that deck to get up to the point where, at least with the resource engine, it's able to recur a lot of those resources and at least even get like a Trishula on the board and a couple of other cards to help lock your opponent out of doing anything. But one of the major weaknesses of the deck is it bricks. It bricks really badly. I've played probably 10 games and the losses I had were mainly due to the fact that the deck bricked. I played about out of the 10 games, I won about 6 of them and lost about 4 of them. Now, when I mean by 10 games, I mean I go past turn 2 or 3 and play a game with my opponent, not I have to break a board, because that's the other major weakness with this deck, is if your opponent's able to establish an unbreakable board, these guys will struggle to break it, unless you can like resource through a lot of their negates. They essentially will be able to beat you essentially that way, which is also a major issue. But outside of that, if you can get your board established, or you can drop a unicorn and go first, with the amount of extra decks, summoning decks currently in the meta, this deck will essentially break that and defeat it, because not many decks have an onboard skill drain. And the fact that decks like Eldritch, Adamancipator, Sky Striker, Salamangreat require their extra decks so badly, Unicorn will essentially help that, and it does, I think, level the playing field. But that's that, guys. My final thoughts on it. It's good. It's a good start. If we get more Dragma support that helps facilitate this, I think it will push it to that high end scale of the meta. But we'll just have to wait and see. But like I said, guys, give a like and follow, follow and subscribe on social media. Next up's the replays bit. Please sit and watch that. There's a couple of good ones. There's a Chaos Dragon matchup. There's a Time Lord matchup. A couple of Sky Strikers and an Ancient Warrior matchup. So please watch them because they were quite fun to play against. But yeah, that's that, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah.